Hi everyone, this is Richard Lomax, and in this module we're going to be talking about who is your ideal customer and who can you help. Now, the starting point for all effective and profitable marketing is to know exactly who your ideal customer is. Now, this may sound obvious, but most businesses, particularly those that have been active in their market for some time, usually never take the time to consider or review this fundamental success factor. So we need to consider who are they, and most importantly, what are their biggest problems. Now, it's vitally important from the start that you take the time to really dive deeply into the exact psyche of your prospects. So I recommend that you download and work through the separate customer avatar worksheet. This will help you create a detailed customer avatar. And this is simply a sort of a fictitious character that represents your ideal customer. In other words, it's the person most likely to buy from you time and time again and to respond to your messages with the greatest positivity. So what are they secretly saying to themselves most of the day and maybe even half the night? Try and get into the conversation that's taking place in their heads and understand what it's like to be them for a day or a week or a year. How are they feeling? What's bugging them or what's frustrating their progress? And what are their dreams and desires? We need to write down in detail the answers to these kinds of questions. Now, most people stumble at this first hurdle by simply not knowing their prospects well enough. And therefore, they end up creating marketing messages that don't quite resonate perfectly with the thinking of their prospects, and therefore they generate limited responses. So the crux of your effective marketing is to create a message that speaks very powerfully to the needs of your ideal prospect. Don't try and appeal to everyone, okay? This message then becomes the focus of all your marketing. Now, the next step is knowing your ideal customer is to answer the following questions as carefully and as much detail as possible. And these questions are covered in the assignment that you can download. So first point is regarding your target market. What clients do you serve? So use your customer avatar to provide a detailed profile of your ideal client, including their demographics. So for example, their industry, their type of business, their job titles, their socioeconomic types, so are they lower, middle, or higher income earners? Their psychographic details, in other words, their values, their beliefs, their sort of character, and their interests or hobbies. Next, we want to think about their problem. So what problem or issue or what frustration or pain or inconveniences or challenges are your prospects facing, which they are actively seeking a solution to? Write down your answers to that question in as much detail as possible. Thirdly, we're going to look at your solution. So you need to explain exactly how your product or service or your experience, whatever you're providing, solves the problems that they're facing. So write down in detail the process that your service delivery follows, or the way that your product is used or operates, or how your product is manufactured. And don't make the mistake of assuming that your prospects won't be interested. The next element is all about the proof and results. So you need to document in detail any kind of before and after examples for as many of your customers or clients as possible. In other words, this was their situation before working with us, and here are the quantified effects of our solution. And that, for example, might be a percentage increase in productivity. It might be pounds or dollars increases in sales revenues, increase in percentage gross profit margins, could be the number of man hours or days saved. It could be a reduction in downtime or call outs or warranty claims and so on. And you also need to list references that you have available. So anything like testimonials, documented case studies, maybe some laboratory or some user test results would be relevant, or maybe it's product or service accreditations. All this information will be used at some point in your sales conversion funnel. And the next point is what we call differentiation. So what makes you stand apart from your competitors? What makes you unique and memorable and special? And what is it about your business that offers a true advantage to your customers compared to your competition? So the vital point of difference needs to shine through in your communications so that your prospects see your product or service as their best choice compared to any of your competitors. And we'll work in more detail on creating this unique selling proposition in another module. Now, a key skill is to be able to verbalize your marketing. And this is particularly important for all directors or senior managers and everyone in your sales team who may be meeting prospects at some point in your sales process. So when somebody asks you, what do you do? 99% of people will simply say, I run or I work in an XYZ business. But that's really done nothing to promote your cause. So instead, here's what you say to get their attention and interest. So don't start talking about what you do, but tell them who you work with and what their problem is. And this kind of takes the focus off you and puts it onto your clients and your customers. And your words are focused on what you do for your clients and what benefits they get from working with you. And this kind of conveys that what's in it for me factor that your prospect wants to know. So somebody asks you, what do you do? You respond, with the target market, who do you work with? I work with IT directors in large size corporate businesses, for example. And then we talk about their problems. You communicate the problem or the pain or the predicament your prospects are experiencing in terms that are meaningful to them. So you might then say, so we start again, I work with IT directors in large size corporate businesses who are having difficulties in managing and coordinating multiple IT projects across different locations and different business units. And then we can continue. Many IT directors are finding that work is being duplicated unnecessarily and that some systems don't integrate with other parts of their operations because projects are not being coordinated effectively. So you're describing, you're building a picture of the problems that your ideal client has. And then you kind of introduce your solution and your point of difference. So tell them what makes you different. And then you just carry on and say, look, we've had fantastic results where our programs provide a consistent management framework for all IT projects, which have speeded up delivery of projects by up to 35%, nearly always reduced costs quite significantly. So when they ask you, what do you do? Your response is framed in terms of how you're helping other clients. And this makes it much easier for your prospects, people who ask you that question, to kind of put themselves in the same picture rather than you simply telling them, you know, this is what we do kind of thing. It's more the benefits of what you do, the difference that you make in people's lives that they really want to hear about. Okay, hopefully that's helped you. The next step is to go through the assignment and the avatar workbook and sort of carefully consider and write down your answers and then send them through to me for sign-off, okay? And by working through these steps, you'll have a far easier job when it comes to grabbing the attention of your prospects and motivating them to take some kind of positive action. Because when you write down the answer to these questions, sure, it takes a little time, but it's really going to pay you back multiple times because it will throw up lots of kind of content and ideas and even wording that you can use in different parts of your marketing and particularly obviously on your web pages. Okay, I'll speak to you again soon.